All right, welcome. In this explainer, we're going to take a look at ManukaMend. We're going to explore it from a physician's point of view, a natural approach that's designed to provide some real, soothing support for some of life's most persistent and honestly frustrating irritations. So let's dive in and see how it all works. So let's just get right to it and talk about a problem that, well, a lot of people deal with but don't really talk about. That frustrating, disruptive cycle of discomfort, burning, and pain. From things like hemorrhoids and anal fissures. It's a cycle that can really seriously get in the way of just living your life. And hey, if you've ever felt like the stuff you grab over the counter is just a temporary fix, you're definitely not alone. A lot of those standard steroid creams or compounded ointments might give you a bit of relief, but it's often just for a little while, and it doesn't really get to the core need for gentle long-term support. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper here. What's the real issue with these conventional treatments? Why do they so often seem to miss the mark? And really, it all boils down to a totally different philosophy, right? On one side, you've got your traditional creams. They often lean on synthetic chemicals and steroids for that quick, temporary effect, which, let's be honest, can sometimes be pretty harsh on sensitive skin. But on the other side, you have an approach that's all about natural, gentle ingredients designed from the ground up for safe, long-term, soothing support. So where did this alternative come from? Well, let's get into the origin story, because it's pretty interesting. It really grew out of years of clinical practice and actually listening to patients. And this is so important. This wasn't something cooked up in a lab or a marketing meeting. It was developed by a specialist, a board-certified colon and rectal surgeon. And it was a direct response to a need he saw in his patients every single day. These were real people looking for an effective alternative they could actually trust. Yeah, that little phrase, physician-formulated, that's everything. It's not just a buzzword. It means every single ingredient, and the formula itself was chosen based on a deep medical understanding of these conditions and what that sensitive tissue really needs to feel comfortable and supported. Okay, so what's the secret sauce here? What makes this formula so unique? Well, the answer really starts with a single, powerful hero ingredient that's sourced directly from nature. Now, hold on. We are not talking about the honey you squeeze into your tea. This is different. Medical-grade Manuka honey is a very specific type from New Zealand, and the reason it's recognized in clinical settings is because of its uniquely high concentration of a natural compound called methyl glyoxal. You might just see it called MGO, and that's what gives it these really powerful properties to support your body's own healing mechanisms. What's so cool is how these three properties work together. Think of it like a three-person team. The natural antibacterial action helps keep the area clean. The anti-inflammatory effects help calm down that irritation and burning. And its ability to support tissue healing just promotes overall comfort. It's this amazing three-pronged approach from a single natural source. But the hero doesn't work alone, right? Manuka honey is backed up by a really carefully selected team of other natural ingredients, all chosen to boost its effects. Every single one of these has a very specific job to do. You've got propolis, which brings in even more antimicrobial properties. Then there's organic coconut oil and cocoa butter, which are all about soothing, moisturizing, and protecting. And the beeswax and sunflower lecithin, they're kind of like the glue that holds it all together and makes it an effective product. When you put them all together, the whole is so much greater than the sum of its parts. All right, so we've got this amazing blend. How does it actually get to where it needs to go to provide that comprehensive support? And this is really smart. It's a two-part system that's designed to be super targeted. So step one is the suppositories for internal support. They're made to address discomfort deep inside. And then step two is the topical salve, which is all about calming that external irritation on the skin. It's a complete, thoughtful approach for both sides of the problem. And, behind this whole formula is a serious commitment to quality. The fact that it's steroid-free, that is huge for long-term use, without all the risks that can come with steroids. Using organic ingredients and staying away from synthetic fillers, that's all about purity. And being manufactured right here in the USA means it's held to strict quality standards you can actually rely on. So, when you boil it all down, it really comes back to this one simple, powerful promise. The goal here is to bring together the credibility of a physician's expertise with the gentle but effective power of nature, all to provide real, soothing support. So, here's the question to leave you with. If you're dealing with that persistent discomfort and you're just tired of the daily disruption, maybe it's worth asking yourself if a natural, physician-formulated approach, one that's designed for long-term support instead of just a temporary fix, is the change you've been looking for.